Welcome to my books and storytime by mybooksummary.com. Confidence by Ethan Nichtern. When we think of the word confidence, certain images tend to pop into our minds. The charismatic speaker owning the stage, the fearless entrepreneur who seems to leap from one success to the next, the cool, unbothered leader who commands every room they enter. But Ethan Nichtern invites us to question this surface-level definition. Is that really confidence? Or is it simply performance? From a Buddhist lens, confidence is something far deeper, something less dependent on what's happening around us, and far more rooted in how we relate to ourselves, especially when things go wrong. Nichtern describes confidence not as a fixed state of being, but as a practice, a way of holding your seat no matter what's going on around you. To hold your seat is to stay present with yourself, without collapsing into self-doubt or running away from discomfort. It's a form of self-trust, a willingness to stay with your own experience even when it's messy, uncertain, or painful. In this framework, confidence isn't about feeling perfect. It's about learning to stay with yourself no matter what winds are blowing your way. This concept comes from ancient Buddhist teachings, but Nichtern applies it beautifully to modern life, showing how true confidence emerges not from external validation, but from cultivating a deep, inner friendship with ourselves. The 8 worldly winds, the currents that shape us. At the heart of Nichtern's teaching on confidence is the ancient Buddhist concept of the 8 worldly winds, the forces that blow through all of our lives, shaping our emotions, decisions, and sense of self-worth. These winds are universal. No one escapes them. They are pleasure and pain, gain and loss, praise and blame, fame and disgrace. Nichtern describes these winds not as enemies to fight, but as natural currents to recognize and learn from. Most of us, he explains, base our self-worth on these external winds. When life brings pleasure, praise, gain, or fame, we feel inflated, confident, even invincible. When we experience pain, blame, loss, or disgrace, our sense of self crashes down. We live in a constant state of reactivity, our confidence rising and falling based on factors outside our control. True confidence, the kind Nichtern wants us to build, doesn't depend on these winds. Instead, it's about staying rooted in our own inner dignity, whether life is lifting us up or knocking us down. It's about learning to feel the winds without letting them define us. This kind of grounded, inner confidence is not flashy or loud. It's quiet, steady, and resilient. The kind of confidence that allows us to face life with courage, curiosity, and compassion. Holding your seat, the core practice of confidence. The practice at the core of Nichtern's approach to confidence is something deceptively simple: holding your seat. To hold your seat means to stay present with whatever is happening, both around you and within you, without running, numbing, or reacting defensively. It's the practice of staying with yourself, even when you're uncomfortable or afraid. Nichtern emphasizes that this is not about gritting your teeth or toughing it out. Holding your seat is an act of self-kindness, a way of saying to yourself, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying with you. It's the opposite of self-abandonment. When the winds blow, when you're criticized at work, ghosted by a friend, or wrestling with self-doubt, the practice is to pause, breathe, and feel your own presence. Instead of trying to fix the situation immediately, you simply stay with yourself, offering yourself the same care you would offer a dear friend in distress. This kind of confidence grows slowly, through repeated practice. Each time we stay with ourselves instead of fleeing into distraction, denial, or self-criticism, we strengthen our inner sense of trust. We learn gradually that we can handle life, not because life is easy, but because we've built the inner muscle of self-compassionate presence. Self-compassion, the hidden foundation of confidence. One of the most surprising and comforting insights from Nichtern's work is that self-compassion and confidence are inseparable. Many of us believe confidence comes from success or competence, but Nichtern argues that real confidence comes from how we treat ourselves when we feel insecure, unworthy, or overwhelmed. Most of us have harsh inner critics, voices that pounce the moment we stumble or doubt ourselves. These inner voices say, "You're not enough," or "You'll never figure this out." Nichtern invites us to meet these moments of doubt not with more criticism, but with kindness. Confidence grows not from pretending we have no flaws, but from learning to be on our own side even when we're struggling. Self-compassion is the willingness to befriend ourselves, to offer care instead of condemnation, even when we fall short. When we cultivate this inner friendship, our confidence becomes unshakable, not because we never fail, but because we no longer treat failure as proof of our unworthiness. Confidence in relationships, staying grounded with others. Relationships are where our confidence is often most tested. Whether with friends, romantic partners, or colleagues, it's easy to lose our seat, to collapse into people-pleasing, defensiveness, or self-silencing. Nichtern highlights that real confidence in relationships comes from holding our seat in the presence of others, even when emotions run high. This means staying present with our own experience, our needs, feelings, and boundaries, even when they feel inconvenient. It also means staying curious about the other person's experience, without making their reactions the measure of our worth. Confidence in relationships is not about being right or winning, it's about being real. When we practice holding our seat with others, we cultivate the courage to be seen, flawed, vulnerable, and human. This kind of confidence invites deeper connection, because it's rooted in authenticity, not performance. Confidence and purpose. Walking your own path. Many of us feel shaky in our confidence because we're constantly comparing ourselves to others. We measure our worth by how successful, attractive, or accomplished we seem compared to the people around us. Nichtern gently but firmly reminds us that confidence comes from walking our own path, not someone else's. True confidence means aligning your actions with your values, even when they're unconventional. It means being more interested in your own sense of purpose than in external approval. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent to others, but it does mean letting go of the need to constantly measure up. Nichtern encourages us to reflect deeply on what matters most to us, to set intentions that honor our values, and to celebrate progress rather than perfection. Confidence grows when we know we are walking our own path, however imperfectly. Befriending failure, the ultimate confidence practice. Perhaps the greatest test of confidence is failure. When we fail at work, in relationships, in our creative pursuits, it's tempting to spiral into self-criticism or retreat into shame. Nichtern offers a different approach. What if failure was not proof of inadequacy, but a natural and essential part of learning? To hold your seat in failure means to stay present with the disappointment, frustration, and sadness, without turning it into a story about your worth. It means treating failure as feedback, not a verdict. This mindset shift allows confidence to become resilient, rooted not in avoiding failure, but in relating to it wisely. Conclusion: confidence as a lifelong practice. Ultimately, Nichtern invites us to see confidence not as a destination, but as a lifelong practice. It's a commitment to holding your seat, befriending yourself, and walking your own path with courage and compassion. True confidence doesn't mean you never feel insecure. It means you know how to stay with yourself no matter what. It means you know in your bones that your worth is not conditional. With this kind of confidence, you can face life's winds with grace, knowing that you have your own back. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.